good in-game changes. I think a little bit late.
Yeah.
But basically, the Conquest and Valor caps have been removed.
Yeah, I would...
an interesting, perhaps, test, perhaps experiment from Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, did they not do that before in Season 2, or am I stoned?
I wasn't really paying attention. I don't know.
I think they did, because I remember thinking about this before. I'm like, why are you doing this now? Why are you not doing this, like a couple weeks earlier or whatever else? Is it like a... well, I mean, there's Vera saying way too late and useless. I think that's what it feels like to a lot of people who are like done playing the game, because it's almost like, hey, here's this designed point of friction, right? This designed point of friction is literally going to go away, which means the part of the game that's pissing you off and stopping you from progress will go away. So come back later. That's a lot. I mean, the Creation Catalyst felt the same.
Yeah.
Where it's just, oh, yeah, did you play before the Creation Catalyst that has a half recharge time? Go fuck yourself, basically. That's a lot of the vibe for people. So I think that's the idea of, just, it's like Conquest and Valor clearly, well, maybe less so in Dragonflight. Conquest being a problem because PvP is just PvP gear then.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Valor having like a cap, certainly, it makes sense that it's there. But at the same time, it's like, would you rather have just, farmable Valor? Probably. I know I certainly would.
Yeah, I think it'll feel better to most players. I could totally see how it could be, used in a funky way during the early weeks of a season. But, no, I'm happy with it. Yeah. I am happy with it. Keep the game feeling rewarding for people.
Definitely instead of...
Now, the problem is if it was like that from the get-go, then people just they would feel forced to play forever.
That's the
so there's always like a weird tug with it.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately where they run into. It's like, well, how much are people going to feel forced to go super hard early versus how much is this going to like run into people generally on average? Because it's like, it's a real... I always found it a real pain in the ass because the way I play the game, I'm more gated by rating because I couldn't be fucking bothered doing every dungeon twice, depending on what week, because that's a lot of work to get my gear upgraded.
Massive.
Generally speaking, versus just waiting for the Great Vault, which never gives me anything anyway, so whatever the fuck.
Your Vault luck is some of the worst I've ever seen.
I honestly,
horrendous.
I'm starting to get to the point where I almost think it is like intentional. I feel like they've actually just went fuck this guy particularly. Because okay, so what the fuck is that? I have been playing a mage recently, just Frost Mage. Just kind of, I'm sick of healing. I'm sick of playing a class that can heal and can tank because then I just do that. Because I fucking hate not like getting into groups quick and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start to actually play DPS. So Frost Mage, easy, whatever else, etc. I spent a full weekend like getting it ready for dungeons, getting my 291 legendary, stuff like that. Then I went and got my it was a time walking week. So I got my normal, I was about to say Antaurus. That's how fucking scuffed my brain is. Got my raid loot from normal. It was the dagger enter number or whatever it's called. That was like the only slot that I couldn't get an upgrade for. Every other slot I could have got an upgrade for from my Great Vault, but it rolled a dagger. But not even like an alternate dagger. Well, I guess technically, but instead of the 259 dagger I had, I rolled a 255 dagger. Sure, the answer is I should have gotten one more slot. I should have done 3 more mythic dungeons. I should have raided a little bit, but I couldn't find groups because of DPS at low item level. So that's a fucking different way to look at it. But it's it's never fun. It is literally never fun. But the Great Vault's always been a real bastard to me, specifically speaking. Oh man. Yeah, bro, I was stuck with an M0 eye level for months and I got a 255 weapon from the TBZ time walking raid. Nice. Well done. Well done. Yeah, no, it's man. Double Lego week, both my vault slots were belts. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the thing where we always talk about like the bell curve, like the negative side of the bell curve. And I think there's so many people who live on that side of the curve of just, sorry, you've got a bad experience this week. I'm two-handed Frost DK and it gave me a one-hander. This is the problem that this game has, right? That's definitely a problem. That's like an issue. But then people say, open your vault as unholy because then you won't get one-handers. But that's a workaround. That's not like a solution. That's a workaround. And I don't think your game system should have workarounds. I think they should have solutions, at least generally speaking. But yeah, no, the vault's fucking horrible. And I don't even want to get into it too hard, but Mythic Plus getting into Mythic Plus at this point of the expansion as a low level, or as like a relatively low item level mage, because I am like Frost Mage. I've got my right talents. I've got my Soulbinds. I've got my double Legos. I've got my, I've got a decent weapon. I don't have tier yet because I have to farm the Cosmic Flux, but it's just, it's so hard to find groups, especially low level, when you're getting declined for a plus, because of IO score, I guess, but whenever you're being declined for a plus like 5, when that's the only thing that'll give you an actual upgrade, this is why I advocate for a M plus random queue, even though that'll bring a whole bunch of problems. That's why I generally advocate for it. It's a shame there isn't a way for gear rewards to be deterministic. Yep, we certainly talk about that all the fucking time. All the time here. Token system where you buy the reward you want after the clear. I mean, that's how FF14 does it, and obviously gear's less interesting there overall, but it works. It works for that kind of not annoying people. Literally everything in WoW is better when you're in a guild. I couldn't imagine playing without a guild. Yeah, but then you need a guild who's like online at like weird times, stuff like that. Matt, just do your key. Yeah, but then you have to open a group, and then you have to wait for a tank forever. And also, what if your key's shit, or what if your key is low? Because my problem was I had a +2 key, and I'd have to push that, which would take me like another 30-40 minutes of dungeon stuff. And I know that's like a minor problem, but when you have half an hour to play, and then your half an hour is like, oh, well, I'll do one dungeon, right? Oh, I have to do 4 before I get an item level. I have to do like 3 before I get a 40% chance to get an item. It's just that case of, man, it's too much. It's just too much. I mean, obviously it's a long form game, but it's just not very nice for when you're when you only have a limited amount of playtime. I've encountered more problems with getting turned down for having no achievements and just being new. I mean, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. I don't know how long ago I talked about this when it came to the how Party Finder works in FF14 is the direct opposite of the pre-made group finder in WoW, in World of Warcraft, where you put yourself on a list, almost like you're applying for a job. You're like, okay, I'm one of the however many candidates, and then people get to rifle through the candidates and go, okay, well, let's look for your score. Okay, your score's a bit low, and this results in the system where people who are lower item level don't get in, because obviously you want the person with a higher item level because they will do better damage, which means the dungeon will be faster, and it's also, what I call just more safe to go for someone with more damage and higher item level, higher score. But in FF14, the opposite is the Party Finder, where you click and join. So it's less like you're applying for a job and you're in a list of applicants. It's more you see a job, it's for you, you go, hello, I'm doing this job now. And the people offering the job are like, well, you fit all the criteria, so you're allowed in. Yeah, come on ahead. And that's what it feels like. That's the major difference in terms of getting into a group quickly enough. I know it's a minor problem. And I know, who was it said? Sorry. 1 second. Someone said the game shouldn't really be designed for someone who's playing like 30 minutes a day. I think that's fair. 30 minutes a day is definitely small. That was like a kind of personal example that I go for. But it's like that, even like an hour or an hour and a half. Whenever you have like half an hour or an hour and a half of playing, and you don't get a loot for it, or you spend half an hour of that hour and a half waiting to get into a group, like I kind of did the other day, you're like, man, Mythic Plus fucking has its downsides. For all its upsides, it has them. Yeah, just went on a rant and talked to chat about getting my experience as a pure DPS trying to get into Mythic Plus groups.
Yeah, don't try that. No, that's a bad idea.
Yep, that's why I'm now playing Monster Hunter Rise instead.
Oh.
But yep.
Well, you know what? Valid feedback for Blizzard. I think that probably happens to a lot of people who want to play DPS.
Yeah, and I was talking about the FF14 Party Finder, where it's literally,
eligible queue, done.
I'm eligible, I joined, done.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's such a small difference, but it's basically putting the onus on the group to have everything set up right, and not putting the applicant on the lower rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting how it changes that way.
Yeah, and then
yep.
I suppose you're just more encouraged in a way to kind of play ball with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with that, also the creation catalyst. So not only have they removed the caps on our big capped currencies, the creation catalyst charge rate has increased. And funny thing I maybe should have mentioned during the VP cap one is, you used to be able to spend your VP incorrectly.
Yeah, that's
such a stupid idea that you're early on in the season, and it maybe feels like it makes sense to start upgrading some items, but then you feel like that's a stupid thing because you can only upgrade certain ones because they're this or whatever. So I think a more freed up version of that system is probably going to be more fun for people. I get why Blizzard wouldn't want people to just go and like run 100 Mythic Plus runs first week of the season to be totally decked out, for sure.
Yeah.
But there really comes a time pretty shortly after the season comes out that you do want to just open things up a bit more.
Yeah, that's the thing where that's like the arbitrary point of we'll open the gates now. It feels so arbitrary, and it always feels like a reaction to, oh shit, everyone stopped playing, how do we open this up? Now, I don't know player numbers, I'm just assuming because it's been however many weeks since the patch, I'm assuming it's a reaction as opposed to like them thinking this is a good time. But it's like, I would love, and this is the hateful part of them, like, if they were more, like, if they had more seasons, right? If they're more like PoE in a way, obviously PoE had this big Sentinels League, I think it's called. People are like, everyone's talking about that and hopping onto that. But because they have like relatively quick seasons and it's like not massive changes, like they have more iteration time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would love them to be able to go, fuck it, we're going to remove these caps for like a season and just see what happens. Or we're going to remove them in week 3 and see what happens. But it's like the iteration time's kind of hard for that, and it's a risky move, all that stuff.
Yeah. And now for the creation catalyst. The charge rate is now 1 every 4 days instead of every 7.
Yep.
So that just means more charges.
Yeah.
So if you're starting an alt, you won't immediately feel this, but maybe after a few weeks, you'll just have so many charges in the catalyst that you're probably not going to realistically run out. I think this is probably also nice for people who just want to use it to get some transmog.
Yeah, I mean, I think
have
that's
more charges to use so they can convert it into the gear they'd like.
I think that's a part of it, because I mean, right now, for my mage, not that I'm playing a whole pile, but I would definitely be capped by Cosmic Flux as opposed to the charges. And that's like obviously the charges are fine, the creation catalyst is working as intended.
Yeah. And then all of these are going to be carried forward into Season 4. It won't be reset. So basically, when Season 4 comes out, it is just going to be a tier bonanza. You get a chest piece, turn it into tier, you're done. Which I'd say will probably feel quite good. Now, another change then. The Spoils of War buff is back. 25% extra conquest. And this will be for the people getting their upgrades, of course. 40% extra honor. And that 25% extra conquest is also coming when they've removed the conquest cap. Yeah. So this will help people get into PvP, but it won't really help them climb up their rating enough to upgrade their gear with all that extra honor. Unless there's more people who join, so that the lower, like the lower ratings get like populated with people who are like, sort of truly at that rating.
It's so funny in hindsight how terrible it is.
It's quite hilarious, the upgrade system.
Yeah, to have item level gated behind rank for PvP. It's just.
Could they just remove that?
Yes. Yeah, I imagine so.
Just remove that. Remove the rating requirement, done.
Yeah,
just let people upgrade it with honor. Sure, it's not ideal and it sets people up for a grind, but just do that, right? Would that not feel better to people?
Yeah. I mean, Dagger says in Dragonflight they are removing that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. They're doing it in Dragonflight, so why not just do it now?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, why not do it now? Especially, it's like if you can't do it in a hotfix because of whatever system reason, do it in 9.2.5. Just like, fuck it, go play PvP if you want to. I mean, I think there will be problems there because people will still have like, tier and legendaries, and you'll still have problems of getting completely destroyed by people who are like endemic players.
Yeah.
But that's a problem in every PvP game. Just most PvP games don't have the gear curve, so remove that and you just be a PvP game, I guess.
Yeah.
What a thought.
Now, the next thing. Yep. Big news. All Wings of Torghast available all the time.
Fuck you, Blizzard. Fuck you.
Oh?
Yep. So, right. Why is this not done in 9.0?
Because of the thrill, Matt. The sheer thrill of it not being the week. that your legendary item is,
Yeah.
so that you then go and do twisting corridors until you can get your legendary item.
That is exactly what I did last week.
Yeah, me
Last
too.
week, I
Oh,
did,
not last week, but
Yeah, I did
as
that
well.
because I wanted Cold Front because I'm playing Necrolord Frostmage. And I was like, okay, it's not Mortregar. So okay, not Mortregar week. Sweet. So I had to go and do Twisting Corridors because I haven't done it before that character. I had to go and do, Layer 2, which just took a while, especially because the Box of Many Things progress is in there. And it's like the old Torghast, not the new Torghast that they slightly changed. So I'm in there, I'm like, okay, I have to go and do all of Layer 2. Great. And then I have to just consistently restart Layer 3. And that took me all in all, it took me like an hour and a half just to go and get this legendary thing. I'm like, fuck. And I wouldn't mind if it was like an hour and a half of, I guess, things that felt like meaningful and stuff. But it was a barrier to my progress. I literally just wanted to do M+, but I wanted to set myself up first. And that setup took me so long, like, fuck.
Yeah, so this is definitely a good change. Should have came earlier. I suppose Blizzard probably didn't do it because they designed the entire system around one run of each wing per week.
Yeah.
At the highest difficulty that you can do. That's how they designed the system. They probably didn't want a situation where people would feel like they had to progress every single one up the layers or whatever. So I suppose, I get that, but also didn't really feel great.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing I was saying when you were away, right? So I can't remember who it was in chat, but someone in chat had a I can't remember names. Anyway, they Great Vault gave them a one-hander instead of a two-hander, despite the fact they play two-hander as Frost DK.
Beautiful.
But because one-hander is part of the Frost because you can play that option, then they just got scuffed, and then they immediately said, and everyone else like, yeah, just roll for it as unholy, because they won't drop a one-hander. And I was like, that's not a solution, that's a workaround.
Yes.
That's a player workaround to a game system not working as intended. And that's what I felt like I did. I had to go on this weird fucking crusade workaround because I was just weakly gated otherwise. And I was like, why am I doing workarounds for this? If this is if I'm trying to get a workaround to get a Windows 95 game to boot, that's fine. That's a fine workaround. Not when I'm playing an actual live game, please. But yeah, that's the wild stuff.
So silly problem goes bye-bye.
Yeah, you can buy the bag and the Zerath Mortars for Legos, except you need Grateful Offerings, which you won't have on a new character because you have to do a bunch of farming for that. You can buy with Cosmic Flux, but you're limited on Cosmic Flux because you need that for legendaries and you need that for the Creation Catalyst. And a lot of your Cosmic Flux is front-loaded. You get a pretty slow grind if you do like a load of stuff, but it's very front-loaded for you to get a couple like 1,000 up front. The other one is Soul Cinders, which I'd be doing Torghast for anyway. So it's like, that's fine for catch-up kind of stuff, but it doesn't really work super well for if you're progressing from nothing.
Yeah, there's still some points of friction that are inherent to how the game has been designed, but likely won't be an issue in Dragonflight because it won't be designed like that way from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Next thing then, splash screen, encrypted.
For the first time ever. Woohoo.
Yeah.
That's
some
pretty
old
good.
splash screens, but yes, the splash screen is encrypted, so it's there, but we cannot see it.
Yep, which is fantastic. Encrypt everything. Don't let us see shit.
Yeah, so I like that. I think the more of this, the more fun the game actually ends up being. Less so for a patch like this, because it's not like we're really expecting crazy things, but, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be a story with Callie or something, or the Night Elves that will actually be pretty big. Yep. Anyway, yes, some strings are fine, though. Just a new in Season 4, just highlighting Season 4, the old dungeons, and, of course, the faded rates. Another thing appearing on the PTR is the login screen. Social contract.
Yep.
So
Accept or exit game.
Yep, we have already covered that.